In the late 1920s, a young woman from London falls in love with a deserted mansion hidden in the Cornish woods in the far west of England. Her family have bought a holiday place nearby, and so she goes back whenever she can, revisiting the abandoned property and harbouring the fantasy of one day living there. Eventually, she pesters the absent landlord and gets permission to walk in the grounds, but nothing is done to save the house, which falls gently into disrepair. The house lives on in her imagination, and then, miraculously, many years later, her wish comes true. She acquires the lease, restores the mansion to its former glory, and makes it her home. By now it is wartime, and the girl has become a wife and mother, but she is also Daphne du Maurier, whose bestseller, Rebecca, has recently been a Hollywood success. Celebrating her arrival at Menabille, du Maurier writes proudly, "The house belongs to me." And yet the author of The House of Secrets, one of the essays reprinted here, ends her account on a characteristic note of suspense. Du Maurier is only a tenant, and her happiness, like her home, is surely temporary. "It cannot last," she writes. "It cannot endure." Fans of du Maurier's fiction know that in her world, disenchantment is the price we pay for the magic. It is the very insecurity of the love that makes the passion strong. When she peered through the windows into Menabille's forlorn and damp rooms, du Maurier wondered, where was the laughter gone? Where were the voices that had called along the passages? This volume of short pieces about her family, her life and beliefs is prompted, like so many of her stories, by the desire to reanimate the past. Daphne du Maurier's was a romantic temperament, not because she penned exotic tales or swashbuckling costume dramas, and certainly not because she believed in fairy tale endings for men and women. There is no such thing as romantic love, she declared provocatively in another of the essays here. Rather, she was moved by what the poet Shelley called mutability, the inevitable changefulness of things. For du Maurier, change was always ominous. The spirit of a place haunted her. Its ghosts were an eerie consolation that human loves and attachments were never wholly lost. This collection opens with The Rebecca Notebook, du Maurier's original plans for her most famous novel. Du Maurier began Rebecca when she was an itinerant army wife, stationed with her husband in Egypt, and homesickness seeps into the descriptions of Cornwall. Her longed-for Menabille became Mandalay in the novel, another house of secrets where the shy heroine feels like a guilty trespasser. Typically, she wrote the disillusioned epilogue first. Mr. and Mrs. De Winter are introduced as a middle-aged couple of dull English expats living humdrum lives in hotels abroad, a sad pair longing for news of the cricket and pining for the English countryside. The final published version made it less parochial, changing the stodgy-sounding Henry to the more glamorous and international Maxim. Du Maurier also wisely cut those lengthy passages where her narrator snobbishly disparages the nouveau riche who have turned Mandalay into a country club with a golf course and cocktail lounge. The melodramatic ending was dropped, and eventually the epilogue became a prologue, tightening the psychological screws, as if the heroine were compulsively retelling the crime story at the heart of her marriage. "We can never go back," she says at the beginning of the novel, launching into retrospect. Rebecca was published in 1938. Apart from the notebook, the memories gathered here date from du Maurier's later life, when most of her bestsellers were behind her.